Hello there, this is Alana Tuckey, lead faculty for Math 133, and I've received a MyStatLab question for 3.1, section 3.1, number 39. Where that shows up in your homework, who knows, because the problem numbers change, but if you were opening the physical book, it would be number 39. And in the homework, you can usually check your numbers in the top right corner up here. So I'm going to click View an Example, and this problem's a little bit involved, so I'm going to have to read it pretty carefully. Benjamin owns a small internet business. Besides himself, he employs 9 other people. The salaries earned by the employees are given below in thousands of dollars. Benjamin's salary, because he's the owner, is the largest, of course. So we're going to complete parts A through D. So our first job is to determine the mean, the median, and the mode for salary. Now, luckily for us, they put this data set in order. And we have a couple ways to do this. Now, we could use the calculator. Let me make it smaller here. So I could go into here and press Stat, press Edit, clear out my old salaries, or old numbers, I should say. They weren't even salaries. And I'm going to enter my new numbers. So 15, 30, 40, 50, and so on. So I have the numbers in there now. Let me make this bigger so you can see. And then I want to be able to find the mean and the median. The mode, you actually just look at the data and figure out which one occurred the most often. In this case, it's 55. So mode is done. It helped that the data set was in order. That makes it really easy to spot the mode. Well, I shouldn't say really easy, but easier. So stat, calculate, number 1, one variable stats. Our data set is an L1, so I'm going to leave it as list as L1. We do not have a frequency list. And we're going to go down to calculate and press enter. Frequency list, by the way, is something we use twice. We use it in section 3.3 for weighted and grouped means, and we use it in section 6.1 for expected value, and that's about it. Every other time we don't really have a frequency list. Okay, you can see the mean is right up here. It's the X bar, which is 49.5. And you can see this arrow down here means there's more down there. So if I click the down arrow, I can find the median, which is 52.5. So 49.5 and 52.5. I'm going to go type all of that up. 1 second. Okay, so those would be the answers for letter A. The mean is 49.5, the median is 52.5, and the mode is 55. Okay, so far none of this seems too terrible. We found the mean, median, and mode. And they're going through all the steps to find it, but we already did it. See, mean is 49.5, median is 52.5, mode is 55. Okay, so now let's get to letter B. Business has been good. As a result, Benjamin has a total of $25,000 in bonus pay to distribute to his employees. One option for distributing bonuses is to give each employee, including himself, $2,500 because, of course, there's 10 employees total, including himself. So if he just takes $25,000, divides it by 10, right, that gives each person $2,500 additional dollars, which remember would be 2.5 because our data set was in thousands of dollars. Right up here it says in thousands. So how could we find the mean, median, mode now? Well, we would go back in and boost every one of our data scores by 2.5. Now I could do it over here on the left. I could actually just change them, but that might get confusing. So I'm actually just going to go over here to the right. I'm going to say 15 plus 2.5. There we go. 30 plus 2.5. 40 plus 2.5. Or 42.5, 52.5, 52.5. By keeping the left-hand scores the original scores, it kind of makes more sense to me because then I can actually keep track of them, and if I lose anything, then I can get it back. So 55 plus 2.5, 55 plus 2.5, or if you already understand that's 57.5, then you can do that. 62.5, that's not hard. 85 plus 2.5. And there we have it. So now this is the second problem right here. So I've added $2.5 thousand. So $2,500. So that was 2.5. So I better make a note of that. 2,500, which is equal $2.5 thousand to each person's score. Then find the mean, median, and mode. Okay, so I'm going to do that right here. Okay, so now let me go back to the calculator. Stat, calculate, number 1, However, I want to change my list. L1 was the original scores, the original salary values. I want L2 now, so I'm going to hit second 2, because above your 2 there's a little L2, stands for list 2, and then I'm going to go down to calculate, and it will find the mean, the median, and the mode for those new values. So the mean became 52, the median became 55. So let me write that out. There we go. Mean is 52, median's 55, mode is 57.5. And you can always tell the mode, remember, because it's the most frequent. So if you go back and look at the data, you can see there's 3 of the 57.5s. So those 355 people became 57.5 people right there. Okay, so that was good and very egalitarian of Benjamin because he gave everybody a little bit of money. Okay, so now what do we have to do? So that was letter B. Let's look at letter C. And just in case you're wondering, you can see all the answers I just found are correct. So as a second option, Benjamin can give each employee a bonus of 5% of his or her original salary. Added the bonuses using this second plan to the originals to create new data set, and then find the mean, median, and mode. Whoa, that's complicated. So let's go over here. You want to add 5% of the original salary to that original salary to find new data. Okay, so that's your first mission, is to do that. Okay, so how do you do that? Let me show you how it works for one person. Okay, so 5%, what you do is you take 0.05 times, let me do it for the first person in the data set, which was person that was getting $15,000. So let me go back. So for first person, so you take 0.05 times it by 15, and then you add to it 15. So you take their original salary, 15,000, and then you add on to them, here, let me put it this way, 15,000 plus, that's what they're getting, their base salary, but then they're getting a 5% bonus, so 5% of 15. Another way to do this mathematically is to multiply by 1.05 times 15. Now, why 1.05? Well, if you just multiply something by 1, it gets you the 15,000 back, and the 0.05 gets you the 5% increase. So that's also how you can figure out taxes and tip in case you're interested. So what we're sort of doing is factoring 15 out of this term and 15 out of this term. Now, if that sounds like too much algebra to you, don't worry about it. You can just take your original number 15 and add to it 0.05 times 15. So let me go back to my calculator, and I'm going to go to L3 this time because I want to keep this first data set in order in my head. So I'm going to take 15, and I'm going to add to it 0.05 times 15, and it becomes 15.75. Now, in case you don't believe me, let me just prove to you something. If I had multiplied by 1.05 times 15, see, same number. So it works. 1.05 times 30, enter. 1.05 times 40, enter, and so on. Now, it's not that you can't do it the other way, it's just that 1.05 is a little bit faster. Not that this is a very fast process. There are a couple other things I could do with the calculator to show you that would make this go a little bit quicker, but I felt like this way would help you guys understand better what's going on. So this is the 5% column. I've added 5% to everybody's score, and I just did it by typing it, and the computer figured it out as I went. So I could do it again, 1.05 times 85. Again, I'm using my original salary. I don't really care about L2. Matter of fact, if you wanted, you could put this in L2, but I'm just trying to leave it in there for the sake of argument. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to recalculate. So I'm going to go to Stat, Calculate, Number 1, but I'm going to use L3 this time because I put my new data set in L3. And again, you don't have to. If you wanted to put it in L2 or L1, that's your choice. I personally like to leave L1 there because I'm trying to build numbers off of it. And I get 51.975 and 55.125. So let me go type that up. So now those new numbers gave us these as our mean, median, and mode. Now remember, the mode comes from looking at the data set. Again, one more time. Those 3 people that got 55 have all of a sudden transformed into, oops, 57.75. I typed that wrong, sorry. 57.75. I thought that seemed a little high. All right, now let's go back to Benjamin's company and see what option D is. So those are the first 3 options. Option D as a, I guess it's not, it's the third option, it's the fourth calculation. As a third option, Benjamin decides not to give his employees a bonus at all. What a jerk. Instead, he keeps the $25,000 for himself. So we're gonna have to figure out his new salary and recalculate the mean and the median. So let's see here. So Benjamin's number originally was how much? His original number was 85. So we're going to add 25 to 85. So Benjamin's salary, since he's a jerk, I'm just going to call him Ben, which is 85 plus $25,000, which would be $110,000. So that's him, and then we're going to recalculate. So let's go back in. Now we could type them fresh over here in L4, but honestly, all we really want to do is leave the original numbers because everybody else is staying the same. And Benjamin, is giving himself $110,000. Enter. All right, so then we go to stat, calculate, one variable. But I want to go back to L1 now. So second one, because L1 is where my data set is now. I'm going to go down to calculate and press enter. So the mean is 52, but the median is 52.5. So let me type that in. For the median and the mode, it's the same numbers as we had for A, because changing Benjamin's salary didn't affect the median and didn't affect the mode, which shouldn't be surprising. The median doesn't get pulled by outliers that much. And the mode, of course, didn't change because that's those 3 people in the center of that data set that weren't going anywhere. But the mean got pulled higher because his one score of 85 turned into 110, so it pulled the mean towards it. All right, there we have it. We have the mean, the median, the mode for all 4 different options. Well, 4 different parts, but of course 3 different ways to give people bonuses. One way is a jerk face way. And we should be all done. Let's go back and double check the problem real quick. So we did part D. Yep, and there's no part E. So the median.